Michael Williams here. We continue to follow breaking news of reports of shots fired outside of the Gardens Mall. We're told the mall is back open. Our Jay Kashmir is there, so is Andrew Lofholm, and our Palm Beach Post colleagues say reports now that no one was hurt by shots fired, or the reports therein as you look on at live pictures of the scene. As always, information can come fast and furious, and we have to sift through it for those of you who've been with us for a while to try and verify and clarify. But again, the mall, we're told, is back open, and Andrew Lofholm joining us live via phone. Andrew?
Michael, I'm on the northwest side of the mall. What I can see is a white sedan with, it looks like 5 bullet holes in the back left side of the sedan. The airbags are out. The front end is totaled. There is a light pole that is down. It looks like that this car had crashed into. There's also a man in handcuffs sitting in the shade being questioned by police right now. Also, I've seen several canine units out. There's actually a development just north of the mall that the police officers and their accompanying canine units are out investigating something. We don't know exactly what. But to give you perspective of where exactly I am, the storefront that I can see here is the Saks Fifth Avenue. But again, we have this portion of the road here is blocked off. Several police cars out here too, Michael.
Looks as though the window's blown out from the car, the rear window. Am I correct in that, Andrew? I don't know what your precise vantage point is.
Yeah, from what I can tell, they're actually able to get fairly close to this car. The back window is broken out. You can see the airbag is out. There's looks like part of that broken window are on the street here where there's some broken glass. Parts of the car are strewn about on the nearby grassy knoll where this car is. Half of the car is up on that knoll. Half of it is still on the street. You see police officers now approaching the car right now, looking at that back left side. You see the back left tire looks flat from my vantage point. So still trying to piece together what exactly happened here. I can tell you, Michael, I can see it looks like, based on the conversation that I could hear, that this man was behind the wheel of this car, and he was telling the officers that somebody had sideswiped him, but we're working on trying to figure out exactly what had happened here.
So to be clear, and if you have independent clarification, and I know you were racing to the scene, but our Palm Beach Post colleagues say at the end it does not appear there were any injuries from the shots fired. Is that your clarification, if you have it yet? And I know you're trying to talk to police right now, but that's what we're hearing.
Right. From what I can see, the man that is in handcuffs, he's not injured. There's no medical treatment on him. All the police officers here, there's no treatment being done to them either. I don't see any ambulances or fire trucks out exactly where I am, which would indicate that there was some form of injury here. So we don't see any of that. So that is some good news from what I can see.
All right, shots fired, but nobody wounded. What's the situation around the mall in terms of traffic? We know that we are being told by Jay Kashmir the mall's reopened. What's the traffic situation? We talked, by the way, Andrew, earlier to somebody who'd been in the food court, and police or mall security, not quite clear, had told everybody to leave. And I'm also, Andrew, if you don't mind, clarify your thought. Then we're going to go to Amy Lippman, my producer's talking to me. But nonetheless, people in the mall had told me they'd been told leave the mall. Protocols in place, of course, whenever there's an incident or a concern. We'll talk more about that. Andrew, you had a clarifying point?
Right. Traffic-wise, the things are flowing as normal as it can be with this heavy police presence out here. Looking at the parking lot, looks like a normal Friday afternoon in terms of how full the parking lot is. Obviously, we're approaching the holiday season, but there's definitely more cars filling up the spots than not as cars continue to rove in and out of the mall. What I can see, there's cars passing constantly.
Andrew, we'll have you stand by. I'm told Amy Lippman had a chance to speak to a police spokesperson. Amy also joining us live outside the mall property. Amy, what can you tell us?
Well, we did find out just now that Palm Beach Gardens police did respond to a call for shots fired at the Gardens Mall here. That was right around 2 o'clock. Apparently, it started with a fight that happened inside of the mall, and then the victim and the person who ended up shooting didn't know each other. However, the shooting happened outside of the mall in the parking lot, and then there was a vehicle that was identified on Gardens Parkway that the victim apparently crashed into a tree around there. It's a white car. Police are still in this area very heavily, but the mall is open now. It was on lockdown for a short time. Of course, the police wanted to be hyper vigilant with this kind of situation, but as I said, the victim and the person who shot her did know each other, and that person is in custody now. The suspect is in custody. We weren't able to get too much more than that, but we will continue to keep everyone updated. Reporting live in Palm Beach Gardens, Amy Littman, WPTV News Channel 5.
And Amy, just to be clear, shots fired, but the person was not hit by the gunfire, correct?
Yes, there were no injuries with this as well, Michael.
Amy Littman, again, part of our team working the scene. She, Andrew Lofholm, News Channel 5 anchor Jay Cashmere also on scene. So the bottom line, the Gardens Mall reopened after shots fired outside the mall involving a possible argument that began at the mall and then spilled outside. One person in custody, the car you see here, riddled, we are told, with bullet holes, but the person not wounded. There had been initial reports of that possibility, but as I've been telling you, those of you who've been with us throughout the last half hour or hour or so, oftentimes conflicting reports that come in. But from the Garden Mall point of view, they immediately moved into action, moving people outside the mall, essentially temporarily, wanting to make sure they had complete control of the situation, not knowing what had transpired. The mall is reopened. No injuries, no one wounded by gunfire. One person, we're told, in custody. We'll continue to learn more. We expect to hear from police in relatively short order. And of course, we always have the latest for you online. And at 4 o'clock, we'll continue our coverage with Shannon Cake on air. I'm Michael Williams reporting.